Chapter 14. The Fury of Justice. 2 deep cuts marred Eliza's fair skin, the blood streaming from them staining her neck a vivid red, pooling in the hollow of her collarbone. Her vision blurred as tears gathered, sparkling like fractured crystals before spilling over, mingling with the crimson on her cheeks. Despair overwhelmed her, a suffocating tide that drowned her resolve. Confronted by General Silas Zale, his cold eyes boring into her soul, her sense of powerlessness grew unbearable. A burning hatred surged within her, not just for Silas, but for the cruel twist of fate that had led her here. She cursed the moment, 10 years ago, when she'd rushed into the Vale's burning estate, driven by desperate cries piercing the night. She'd saved a life, dragging a stranger from the flames, but the burns she suffered plunged her into a decade of torment, relentless crucible of pain and isolation. Those scars had turned her into a pariah. At school, classmates shunned her, their whispers cutting deeper in the fire's heat. Friends she'd once cherished drifted away, leaving her to face the cruelty alone. Even her family, Edmund, Marjorie, and the rest of the Rowans began to see her as a burden, their affection curdling into disdain. When her scars healed, a miracle she'd barely believed possible, she dared to hope the suffering had forged her into something stronger. But now, bound and bleeding in the Ravencross Hotel's basement, she was drowning in despair once more, the weight of betrayal heavier than any wound. "Please, General Zale, this has nothing to do with us." The Rowans pleaded, their voices a frantic chorus. "It's all Eliza's fault. Yes, it's her doing. Torture her if you must, but let us go." Her Uncle Howard spat, his eyes wild with self-preservation. Eliza gazed at Silas' impassive face, her family's betrayal, a knife twisting in her chest. Her despair deepened, crushing her spirit beneath the realization that those she'd fought for now abandoned her. Still silent? Silas' expression turned frigid, his cigarette's ember glowing like a predator's eye in the dim light. He waved a hand, his authority absolute. 2 soldiers stepped forward, their boots echoing on the concrete. "Sir, take her to the auction hall," Silas commanded, his voice a low growl. "I want all of Ravencross to see the consequences of crossing the Zales. We'll deal with Alex Yates once the Rowans are finished." "Yes, sir." The soldiers untied Eliza's restraints and seized her by the hair, dragging her across the rough floor like a broken doll. Her thin dress tore, the fabric catching on jagged edges, her skin scraping raw with each brutal pull. Sharp pain flared from her wounds, the cuts on her cheeks burning as they grazed the ground. But her cries for mercy went unheeded, swallowed by the soldiers' indifference. On the top floor of Ravencross Hotel, the auction hall glittered with opulent crystal chandeliers, casting fractured light, velvet drapes framing a city skyline pulsing with ambition. The items displayed were worthless trinkets, yet their starting bids were exorbitant, 10 times their true value. The attendees, Ravencross elite merchants, counselors, and generals, understood the game. Alex Yates had bankrupted the Zales, but Silas, leveraging his authority as a general under the Blythe King, was forcing their compliance. Crossing him risked ruin, so they bid on fakes and forgeries, their wealth a shield against his vengeance. As one bid concluded, the elegant auctioneer, Rowena Zale, stepped forward, her smile sharp as a blade. "The next item is Starlit Blossoms by the Ravine. Starting bid, 8 million, with minimum increments of $500,000. The crowd stirred, whispers rippling through the hall. The painting Eliza was accused of destroying was a fake, pretext to crush the Rowans. Eliza's call to Yates, overheard by Joel Zale's reckless boasting, had triggered the Zales' downfall. Now, Silas wielded the painting's myth to exact revenge, its image of defiant blossoms a cruel irony. Eliza, dragged into the hall, was a broken figure bloodied, trembling, her spirit shattered. She yearned for release, her voice a whisper as she begged Silas to end her life. The crowd's gazes, a mix of pity and amusement, burned into her, but none dared intervene. The Zales trap was a spectacle, and Ravencross thrived on such dramas. Outside, Marcus and Henry waited in the shadows, masks prepared, their breath fogging in the cold. As the hour struck, they donned their disguises black cloth, concealing their faces, and slipped through the hotel's unguarded back entrance, avoiding the western border troops patrolling the front. Ascending the service stairs, Marcus moved with lethal precision, his silence belying the storm within. Eliza's anguished cries echoed from the auction hall, each one a spark igniting his rage. His heart pounded, a wildfire consuming him, the Iron Serpent awakening after years of restraint. Henry, trailing behind, froze as he sensed Marcus' hostility, a primal force that chilled the air. He'd seen this fury once before, a year ago in the Sable Marches, when the Iron Serpent army lost tens of thousands to an enemy trap. Marcus alone had stormed the enemy stronghold, his wrath unstoppable. Blood had flowed like rivers, bodies piled as high as mountains, and Marcus returned with the enemy leader's head, his eyes empty of mercy. In the auction hall, Silas slid his dagger against Eliza's throat, the blade's edge a whisper of death. "One final chance," he said coldly. "Who did you save 10 years ago?" The doors exploded open with a deafening crash, the sound reverberating like thunder. "It was me." Marcus' roar, thick with malice and bloodlust, thundered through the hall, his masked figure a specter of vengeance. The crowd gasped, frozen, as the Iron Serpent stepped into the light, his presence a promise of reckoning for Ravencross sins.